what has been the pivotal race of the day so far here at the 1995 MOPAR Parts Nationals. And who else but John Force would be involved in this race? Force, the Castrol GTX Pontiac, would take on Al Hoffman and the Western Auto Slick 50 car. Now, the Slick 50 machine has gone 497, 499, and 306 miles an hour on a couple of runs back-to-back in qualifying. He had them all talking to themselves. I chatted with Austin Coyle before the day started. I said, how's things? He said, we're not happy. We haven't got this clutch problem quite solved. And the Western Auto car on the far side about to see if he can take out John Force. Just like a stroll down the Garden State Parkway for a happy Al Hoffman, and Steve caught up with him.
Al, that had race of the day written all over it, and it didn't disappoint.
Western Auto Slick 50, the nightmare's over. We're on it now.
You've been stealing Force's lines. Now you already got his record at 306.
We want it all. We want his record. We want his ET record. Everything he's got. The World Championship, that's what we're after.
I love it.
It says here in the notes, hype live. What hype do you have to have after that? A great performance by Al Hoffman as he took out John Force. Finals are coming up. Stay around. TNN's live coverage of the MOPAR Parts Nationals is brought to you by MOPAR, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. We'll be right back with a look at today's activity in Pro Stock. Hang in there.
Everyone, we are live at the MOPAR Parts Nationals in surround sound, and that sound you hear is one of the funny cars warming up for the finals. In case you haven't heard it, the #1 in Pro Stock, Gerald Oldham, the Wayne County Dodge, was not an action here, nor Scott Jeffrey up, because here you see the vandalism at the Wayne County Speed Shop in Fairfield, Illinois, last Tuesday night. They destroyed all of their motors, all of their manifolds, all of their cylinder heads. They may not be back for yet 2 more races, and I'll tell you what, I love the smell of nitrogen in the afternoon. Here was yesterday's Pro Stock Challenge without the Dodges. No surprise that Warren Johnson got to the finals. A surprise, though, Larry Morgan, who was the alternate for Alderman, got in with a lot of pressure on him, though. He was not qualified for eliminations on Sunday, and obviously the $10,000 may not soothe that. Larry wasn't around here today. Warren Johnson won the Pro Stock Challenge. Now, as far as Pro Stock action here today, let's go to Bob Fry again. Whoa, the fumes are bad. Fry man, are you there?
It's like surround sound and surrounded by fans and those fumes. Let's take a look at Pro Stock action leading up to the final, starting with round #1. On the far side, coming off the DuPont Automotive Finishes Pro Stock Challenge win, WJ with a red light. He is out of here. 6 races in a row, Warren's been beaten on the line. Abbott, Coughlin, Marnell, and yes, Virginia, Bob Glidden advancing off the top side of the ladder into round #2, while Yates, Dester, Cambron out of Kentucky, Ray Franks and another Kentuckian, Mr. Kaufman, all staying alive as they go in to round #2. This is Butch Abbott in the near side of the racetrack, and the kid, Jake Coughlin, over there on the far side. The key right here, reaction time. Abbott 4:21 to Jake's 4:68. IT's almost identical. That's the difference right there. Bob Glidden, the Ford Quality Care Probe, over there on the far side of the racetrack. George Marnell out of Las Vegas, Nevada. You got a better chance of winning at the casinos than you do of beating Bob Glidden. 7:12. Jim Yates, the Mickey D's car, the Pontiac, who had been dynamite in round 1 in the 7.0s. Low ET of the first round. Comes out here in the second round, puts another 7.09 up on the board. Say goodbye to the guys out of Kentucky. Yates in the Mickey D's car, the world's fastest drive-through. Coming right at you, it's Ray Franks, and it's Danny Kaufman out of Kentucky. Oh, my. Taking the long way around. Driving on the turnpike was never like that. Ray Franks, 7:18, going to the semifinals. Can you believe it? The final four, it's Bob Glidden, the 10-time Winston champ against Butch Abbott, and watch this. The Bondo driver was okay as he got out of the car, was uninjured. They checked him over. The medical folks tell us that Butch will be back and race again very soon. The other half of that final four, it's Yates and Ray Franks. The driver of the McDonald's car. When it's your day, it's your day. Low ET of the round. 7-11, he's been low ET every round going into the final. Let's join our colleague Frank Hawley.
You know, one of the drivers that dominated pro stock drag racing for more than a decade was Bob Glidden. He hasn't done much lately. In fact, it's been over 2 years since he won one of these things. But today, Bob's Ford has been flying, and he is one of our finalists in Pro Stock Eliminator. Steve?
Well, I tell you what, he's up against a tough customer. Dick Maskin, crew chief for Jim Yates, the McDonald's Pontiac, says this baby is ready to run a 7-0 in the final. Can Glidden match that? I talked to Yates himself. I said, Glidden may mess with you on the starting line. He said, I'd do the same thing if I was in his position. Stay with us, everybody. When we come back, Bob will have his report on funny cars. The fuel coupes, hang in there. Live from Raceway Park. Boy, if that doesn't get you up dancing and wanting to see some funny car action, I don't know what would. Everybody loves the tire-smoking fuel coupes, especially Bob Fry, and he's got the recap of everything that has happened all day today. Mr. Fry, tell us about it, would you please?
Fuel, I can't believe that guy said hi, Mom. In surround sound, we'll take a look at round at number one. There's the defending champion. It's the In-N-Out Burger car on the other side of the racetrack. Old what's-his-name, Jeff Aaron. You say you don't know Jeff Aaron? You do now. 5:13, he takes out the defending champion. Aaron, Scusa, Gary Densham looking good for the second race in a row, and Whit Bazemore all advanced into round number two. On the other side of the ladder, Hoffman and Forrest, well, you saw that one. Cruz Pedregon and Kenji Okazaki all marched into the second round of competition here as we take a look at the players in round number two. Well, you saw the race of the day. Hoffman with a great 5:18, beat Force's 5:24, and a chance to move up in the points battle. Kenji Okazaki and the Cruiser. Little smoke, little fire, little quicker. Cruz, 675, 239. Hey, wasn't pretty, but he goes into the next round. The Permitex, Loctite, Fast Orange Machine. Why, this is hardly fair. Gary Densham had clutch problems on the starting line. Whit Bazemore takes advantage to solo to the semis. Here's that Aaron kid again, a guy that used to race a Super Comp Fiat with a wing through the roof. Bet you that was attractive. Speaking of attractive, Scusa's car is. 28 on the time card. Doesn't look bad either. 287 miles an hour. Let's go to the pit area and Steve Evans.
Hoffman had been huffing and puffing and blowing everybody's funny car house down until he ran into Mickey D and Cruz Pedregon. Tell us about the semifinal run.
Oh, that was some race with Hoffman. I'll tell you, he's been running good, ran a couple of fours Friday night in qualifying, and we were just going up there. We knew the conditions were treacherous out there. We knew that it would take a good run to beat him, and it was a great side-by-side race, 520 to 524, and hey, we beat him.
Absolutely. Good luck in the final round.
Thanks a lot. It'll be a good final.
Okay, Bob, who's he going to race in the final?
As you look at Bob Brandt getting ready for that engine to see who they're going to race in the final, well, it would be one of the two kids, a couple of the young toughs. This, the Permitex, Loctite, fast orange machine of the youngster Whit Bazemore. Lived originally in Strathmere, New Jersey, right down the Garden State Parkway. He's going to go against Dean Scusa. As you take a look at Rob Flynn there, the crew chief on this race car, the resurgent Whit Bazemore has been running very well. Dean Scusa over there on the far side of the racetrack, looking to go to his second final in the year. Got punched out by Forrest down there at Gainesville earlier this year. Scusa's gone 29 and 28 in his first 2 rounds. Bazemore ran 26 and a 41. Looks like a pick'em here in the semifinals. Little too much race car there as Dean Scusa does it again into the finals for the second time this year as he will go into the championship round. Let's join Steve Evans again in the pit area. Steve?
I got here to Scusa's car. They were just about to warm it up. I don't think my eyes will take any more nitro fumes. Scusa, this is a big moment in your life, boy.
I'll tell you what, this is the 3rd time. We want to make it count this time.
Cruz Pedregon, he's a great driver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's having a really good day, too. So we're just going to have to, throw whatever we can at it. Lance is tuning it up. Hopefully it'll, won't smoke the tires out there.
Give me 10 seconds and you can start it, okay?
All right, 10.
He's a good kid. At every one of these live races, we have the MOPAR High Performer of the Race Award. Who would you give it to? All of our votes went to Al Hoffman, the MOPAR-equipped Hemi, under the Pontiac body for his national speed record of 306.33 miles an hour. Not only did he backed it up with another 306.33. Okay, stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back live from Englishtown, New Jersey. Some people think there may be a gravity fault under Old Bridge Township, Raceway Park in Englishtown, New Jersey. This action is typical of what fans have enjoyed here since July 4th, 1964. But if you can keep all 4 wheels on the ground, no drag strip is quicker. Witness 1 year ago, the quickest elapsed time we'd ever seen to that point, Michael Brotherton, 4:69. Well, in Top Fuel qualifying, Corey McClanathan almost had one of those blowovers. It was very, very close. Now, as far as all of the Top Fuel action today, he's doing such a good job in the other categories. Let's let Bob Fry do it one more time. Robert, what's going on? What went on in Top Fuel?
Top Fuel in the opening round. There's your winners. How about that Dixon kid? Connie gets his first round win of the year. It's Johnson and Johnson. On the other side, Corey McClanathan and Kenny Bernstein sets up a dynamite second-round match. Scott and Mike Dunn in the La Victoria Salsa car go into the second round. The American International car, this is Connie Coletta. They had some chassis problems over the weekend. Got it sorted out. Good enough to go to the semis. Nope. Not when Dixon's putting a 480 on the board. That would be...
I may talk to Snake.
Low ET of the round. The Budweiser King, Kenny Bernstein. Up in smoke, Corey Mack. They had problems getting the car started, then the chutes fell out. They got it packed just in time. He's still alive. The reigning Winston champion, Scott Coletta. 0 wins for the year on the National Event Tour. 1 round closer, pushes out Mike Dunn, 482, to Mike Dunn's losing 496. Nobody named Johnson has won anything all year in Pro Stock, Top Fuel, Pro Stock bikes. Hey, somebody named Johnson's going to win here. It'll be Johnson. First name, Blaine. 93, just shy of 300 miles an hour. The final 4, here comes Larry Dixon, the Miller Genuine Draft car under the watchful eye of Don Prudhomme, Wes Cerny. Rusty Wallace even here this weekend. Too much tire smoke for the Johnson boys. Dixon, too much car for all of them. 90 at 292. And it's Corey Mack and Scott Coletta. And a racetrack that has given its winners dating back to Pete Robinson would give us the final of Dixon and Scott Coletta. Not the 4th of July, Scott. Let's go in the pit area again and Steve Evans.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed about Don the Snake Prudhomme, he's no longer a driver, a car owner, is the intensity. Snake is always deep in thought. He told me that this car was healthy. They took it apart, looked at it, put a couple of bearings in it, and that was about it. Poured 98% nitro in the tank, and he says they're ready. He's also very happy. It's the first time one of his cars has held a national record since 1988. Frank Hawley is with our other finalists.
Scott Khalid has been doing very well today, but not without the expense of some parts breakage. He has 2 broken engines here. They've had a lot of clutch problems. Dick LaHaye's trying to work to fix it. That's what they broke in the semifinals. He thinks he has it fixed for the final, and right now the American International Airways top fuel car is ready for the final round.
Should be some great final rounds live in surround sound. Stick around. The Top Fuel Finals, alcohol cars all coming up. TNN's live coverage of the Mopar Parts Nationals is brought to you in part by Pep Boys Automotive Supercenter. It's going to be more action live in surround sound. Call your friends. Prop up the dog.
I like Englishtown because they set world records here all the time.
For 5,000 horsepower cars, man.
I like racetrack.
The cars, the girls.
This is the place where it happens. Englishtown, man, the smoke, the noise, the power, it's all here.
And I like the cars.
This is the king of the racetracks on the East Coast.
I love it here.
I don't see how you could beat it.
I like Kitty Bernstein.
I love NHRA, Diamond P Sports, and TNN.
All right, and we love the fans here at Englishtown. Where I'm concerned when it comes to skydiving, my motto is there is no reason to leave a perfectly good airplane. All right, I'm tired of these preliminaries. The top alcohol dragsters and funny cars are in the lanes. Let's right now go to Governor Christie Whitman's favorite subject, Bob Fry.
I'll tell you what, New Jersey and you perfect together. Now, I'll tell you what, folks, we've been telling you about surround sound, how good it is. Look out your window right now. I mean, this is the real deal. Oh, it's not in your backyard? How about that? Mr. Slater from Indiana and the largest American flag, part of all the pre-race festivities before the finals at most of the NHRA National Championship events, and what a great job that they do. We've got the alcohol finals coming up first. After that, we got Pro Stock bikes, Pro Stock, Top Fuel, funny cars. It's going to be a great championship round, all coming up live on TNN. And if you don't think that surround sound is good, inhale. I can hear the folks all around the place. Just like being there. It's a great crowd on hand here today. Frank Hawley's somewhere down there near the starting line. Frank, they've been doing a little bit of cleaning out on the racetrack. The alcohol cars are getting set to come up. Is there any difference in the lanes that you've been able to see?
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, I've been out here and looking at them, and they look just fine, but I just talked with Shelley Anderson, top fuel driver and girlfriend of Jay Payne, the driver that's in the alcohol funny car final, and she says that both the funny car and the dragster finals, both those drivers and teams have picked the left lane as the lane of choice, so we're going to have to wait and find out if that makes the difference, Bob.
Interesting. Earlier in the weekend, everybody was picking the right lane, or the lane near the camera. There's Cheese. Chuck Cheeseman, his brother Keith, out of Columbus, Ohio. Oldsmobile Achieva against Pat Austin.
Look at that!
The Castrol, Syntac, Dynamax, Red Wing Shoes, Tracker Boats, Oldsmobile. The challenge to get all that out in one breath. Now, this is interesting because Pat Austin is the reigning top fuel champ here. Didn't qualify in top fuel, and he's here in the finals. Frank Austin's car over the last 3 races seems to be picking up a big head of steam, and he could become a factor for the rest of the year.
Well, you know, he certainly was one of the dominant forces in the alcohol funny car racing for quite some time. And I talked to him earlier today. He was telling me that for a long time they think that they've always had the horsepower necessary to go out there, run low ET, and maybe win one of these events. What they've been battling is the fact that they can't get the power to the track. And like so many other races have said in the past, they're constantly working on clutch adjustments. They think they found something, and that's the reason Pat Austin's been driving a lot faster lately.
Chuck Cheeseman, his last national event win, the Spring Nationals in Columbus, 1 year ago. Pat Austin's last win was down at the Gator Nationals in Florida, 1994. That is a big drought for this 4-time Winston champion. The Castrol Syntac Olds and Chuck Cheeseman, the independent car, in the near lane. Look at this. What a way to start off the live finals on TNN. Pat Austin surrounds the field, wins it at 595, 241. Cheese right there with him at 608, 231 miles an hour. Pat Austin goes back-to-back with championships here at the Mopar Parts Nationals, but he did it last year in Top Fuel, this year in the Top Alcohol Funny Car Finals. A great win and a wire-to-wire job there for Pat Austin. He qualified #1 and takes home the championship, and that breaks a long, long dry spell. Here comes the Top Alcohol Dragster Final now. This is the reigning U.S. Nationals champion, the right decal machine, Randy Park, the #3 qualifier out of Lombard, Illinois. He will take on Jay Payne. Wow, a burnout big time for Jay Payne. And the ride and decal machine out of the Fluke handheld computers. Going to be a great matchup, Frank. You got the hottest guy in the class right now, Jay Payne, against the U.S. National champ. Should be a pick-em.
I'll tell you, Jay Payne looks like he's going to be able to take over for John Force on those long, smoky burnouts. We're going to find out if that's going to help him. But one thing that's going to help the ride and decal guys is this, that they started out the year with a brand new alcohol dragster chassis, and they went through all kinds of tire shake problems. Didn't matter what they did to the car, they couldn't get it to work properly. They went back home, they took their brand new car, stuck it in the corner of the shop, and this is the car that they ran last year. This might be the one that's going to stop Jay Payne.
Jay Payne has had a great start to the 1995 season. He has already picked up wins at the ATSCO Nationals and down in Florida. This is Mike Robeck is crew chief to the right as you take a look at the guy that owns a trucking company out in California. Calls his car the Thunder Slug. And the right decal team, U.S. National champ, went to the finals also. Out at Pomona last year in the Winston finals, and he lost to Jay Payne. Look at Jay Payne and 577. Wow, somewhere out there, Chuck Baird, Tom Conway, the rest of the guys in Alcohol Dragster take note. Jay Payne picks up his 3rd win of the year, 577, 243. Steven?
Well, you know, I don't have a whole lot of time, folks. I'm going to keep this simple. You see this tape? It's called And They Walked Away For It from Diamond P. Buy it. There's a number on your screen. You'll thank me every time you pop it into your VCR. There's nothing like it on the videotape market. All kinds of exciting incidents and moments from many different forms of motorsports. And why? What I like about it, in fact, I wouldn't be associated with it if it wasn't for the fact that in every case, the driver walks away. There was Atwa 1, 2, and 3. They were all great, but believe me, Atwa 4, unlike most sequels, tops them all. So make that call. You'll have it, well, just within a couple of days. And believe me, you will thank me every time you see it. Bob Fry, he's worn out 2 or 3 copies, right, Bob?
That's your best work ever. There's a look at Steve Schultz, 5-time Winston champ, the Sunoco bike, getting set to go against the Star Racing bike of John Myers, the 2-time champ. These are the 2 big hitters in Pro Stock Motorcycle. They're going to slug it out in just a moment. Stay with us. We're coming back. TNN's live coverage of the Mopar Parts Nationals is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. We're getting set for the professional finals. Leading off will be Pro Stock Motorcycle, and with me, that quiet, introverted rider of the Slick 50 bike, Steve Johnson. Steve, you ought to be out there, boy.
Wow, I really should. I felt like the bike had a lot of power, and my helmet was looking good, and not nearly as bad as your tie. Your tie is really bad, Bob.
You're a cold person. I want to tell you that. A cold person.
I got to get back at you for all that stuff you did about my helmet, man.
This is going to be a great matchup. They don't come any better than this. This is what the Pro Stock Bikes has been over the last couple of years. It's David Schultz. As we take a look at John Myers, your teammate, what has he got to do to take out David here?
Well, I have some insight because obviously I'm part of his team. What they did is they made a gear change. and I don't know if I'll get in any trouble for letting that out, but we had come here thinking that the air was going to be really, really good and the track really, really good. We were ready to all run 40s. We didn't run 40s, so now we've gone back to a little combination that we've had at another track, and hopefully that'll be enough.
This is going to be a great matchup. Look at that onboard camera right there. This provides some of the best shots you're going to see on live coverage. That's on the bike, the Sunoco bike of David Schultz, engined by Greg Cope as they move up to the starting line. Frank Hawley, the starting line's the key in all these pro categories. What's it looking like from your vantage point?
Leave off the starting line. Well, I watched Dave Schultz make that short, dry leave off the start line. Looked like his tire chattered a little bit. I don't know if that's going to cause him a problem or not. We're getting ready to find out.
0.005 of a second, all that separated the two in the semis. Myers ran 7.671. Schultz ran 7.676. John Myers just sitting there waiting with the star bike. The onboard camera on David Schultz, Sunoco Suzuki. Schultz at the top end holds off John Myers, and he did it with a hole shot. Just like we said, the advantage on the starting line, the big difference. David Schultz, 7.69, beats John Myers, 7.66. Schultz had a reaction time of 4.13. Myers, a 4.67. And right now, let's go down to the pit area and Steve Evans.
You know, Bob, what the fans love about the Pro Stock car final, it's General Motors versus Ford like the old days. In the GM product is Jim Yates. You know, with those shades on, you look like a fighter pilot. Do you feel like one?
Yeah, I hope we're fixing to lay one down here and go get a piece of that Ford.
You know, you've got a big advantage on paper. We're racing this on asphalt. Anything can happen.
Not hardly. I mean, Bob's won a lot of races, and he's going to be a tough competitor out there. We got to go out there and make our best run of the weekend.
Have a safe ride. Okay. It's been a long time since we've been able to do this, and that's run on over and talk to a man named Bob Glidden, a 10-time champ. Mr. Glidden, it's Steve Evans. Remember me?
Been a long time, Steve, but I remember your face.
You know, you're going to have to challenge this man on the starting line if you got any chance here.
It's hard to tell what I'm liable to do up here, but if I don't have some good luck on the starting line, I'm done. So we're going to do something.
This could be a classic. Pontiac versus Ford. Stay with us. Pro Stock final coming up next live. We are back live for the finals of the MOPAR Parts Nationals. You football fans have to recognize that man. Coach Joe Gibbs looking on at his driver, Jim Yates, with those fighter pilot-like sunglasses. And there is Bob Glidden. Had a lot of health problems. In fact, he had a major bypass in December, and here he is in the final round. Bob Fry, take us on home.
All right, folks at home, it's a quick quiz. Which one of these three doesn't belong? It's Pro Stock coming up. It's Darrell Oldham, it's Scott Jeffrey on it. It's Bob Glidden back in the finals again, Darrell.
Yeah, I tell you, Bob's been running good today, but I tell you, Jim Yates is awful strong. I have to say Jim Yates is going to win this.
Pontiac's been the best car every round so far. Can he take Glidden out?
It has been, but I think Bob's hungrier and he's got the experience. Bob don't shake. I think it's his race.
Well, we'll find out. The Team Mopar guys here with us. You saw earlier in the show the reason why they are not out there racing. Bob Glidden, the 10-time champion. He's won 84 national events. Went to his first final here in 1978, beat Larry Lombardo. The boy's been doing this for a while, Scott.
Yeah, I'd say 82 Oscars. That's unbelievable, you know. It's something a drag racer can only wish to accomplish, you know.
Frank Hawley down there on the starting line. Any change from what we saw in the Pro Stock bike finals? Seemed to be a pretty even keel.
Well, I think that the lanes are going to be pretty even. You know, I talked to Bob earlier, and, you know, he's just having a good day. He's having a little bit of luck go his way, and if I was Jim Yates, I wouldn't really like that too much because sometimes being lucky or getting a break here and there is even a little bit better than being fast.
I want to let the Team Mopar guys in the booth here know how happy they've made the rest of the Pro Stock contingent. There's got to be some silver lining to that cloud. Out in front. Bob Glidden gets the win. The Ford runs 7.11 for the guy that won 3 championships when he was sponsored by that group. 194 miles an hour to a 7.12. A great great matchup in the final, and Bob Glidden, Scott Jeffrion was first off the mark.
He was. You know, they don't come any cagier than Bob Glidden, that's for sure. Me and Darrell just wish we had our Mopar Parts Dodge Avengers down there and beating up on each other a little bit for that final round.
That staging down there on the line looked like you and Glidden out of Denver in '93.
I don't know. It probably looks like me and Darrell every time we go up there.
Well, Bob Glidden picks up the win. Darrell Alderman, I guess with Bob being out of the top 10, you would probably rather see him win than Jim Yates.
Well, you know, that's the way we look at it. We're looking at each round, 20 points, you know. It really was a surprise, though. Glidden's been driving good. Jim Yates has been strong all year long, and really happy for Bob Glidden to see him get another win.
How about that? Let's take a look at this on replay again. It's the Quality Care Ford Probe in the near lane, the Mickey D's car on the far side. Jim Yates just snake-bitten in the finals. He has got a tough time picking up wins. He's 2 for 9 in the finals. He has moved very well in the points here this weekend with his great performance, but watch this at the top end as the McDonald's car coming, and comes up about French fries short. It's Bob Glidden picking the win, and I mean to tell you, the guy is unbelievable. Steve?
I'll tell you, Robert, the Ford fans here at E-Town are about to tear this place down.
What a day for us, Steve. We had a great weekend. It's been one of those storybook deals for us, I'm telling you.
And some great driving. You were off the mark first, a 7-11. Outstanding.
Well, maybe I drove good a round or two, but I had a couple rounds I didn't, had some really good breaks. So, you know, it's one of those weekends for us. This is incredible.
Our best to you and Ed and the whole family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bob?
How about that Bob Glidden? The fans here at Raceway Park love it. It's Alderman. Yates into the second slot. I let Scott Jeffrion get out before we told him that. Warren Johnson, number 4. Mark Powick rounds out the top 5. We got the funny cars coming up in surround sound. It's like burnout tracks in your living room rug. Watch this. It'll be Cruz Pedregon sitting there contemplating his final round matchup. And there's a good look at Dean. Word of the day, Scusa. Stay around. It ought to be dynamite.
We are back live at the Mopar Parts Nationals, a great Pro Stock final. It's now time for Funny Car. Back to Bob Fry and his latest special guest.
We've been going around the pits looking for somebody to come up here that could help me out in this final for the Funny Car. As we get set, it's the Mickey D's car and Dean Scusa. And we finally found somebody that can tell us about Funny Car and Whit Bazemore, Permatex, Loctite, Fast Orange Machine. Do you like my tie?
I don't know. I'm surprised you wore that to be on national TV, Bob, but you're pretty brave.
Well, we're going to get set to see who's brave here in the Funny Car final. You, of course, had the best seat in the house to watch Dean Scusa there in the last round.
Yeah, unfortunately we did for our Loctite team, but the Dean Scusa team, you know, led by his father and Lance Larson, they're a good up-and-coming team. They've got major sponsorship now. They're running good. They're running real good, and I think they're going to give the McDonald's team of Joe Gibbs and Cruz Pedregon a real run for their money today.
Frank Hawley, you won the Winston Championship twice driving a Funny Car. What's the young kid got to do here to stop Cruz?
I remember the first final I was ever in, Bob, down in my hometown of Gainesville, Florida, and I just wanted to not make a mistake. I talked to Dean earlier today. He said that's what they wanted to do, is get from one end to the other, not make a mistake. In fact, he told me he was even going to go sit down in his trailer, listen to some music, and just relax for about 5 or 10 minutes before this final round so he didn't get too excited. I wouldn't be too surprised if this is Dean Scusa's day.
Is that what he's got to do with? Just relax, run his own race?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you can't look at what the other car's been doing all day, and the history of that McDonald's team obviously is pretty good. You've got to run the track. You've got to run your own lane. You've got to run your own car. And they had a problem the last run against us. They dropped the cylinder, cost them some power. They've got to fix that problem. If they do, they can win this race.
Oh, look at this, and out of the smoke and surround sound, the McDonald's car, who has lost very many times when he smoked the tires on the starting line, wins this when he goes 524, 294 miles an hour. Scusa, the mathematics, 740, 121 miles per hour, and it was not pretty with Bazemore, but they will take it.
Yeah, they certainly will. Cruz he was ready for this race. He doesn't make any mistakes. He had Dean on the starting line. Dean made a mistake on the starting line. He was really late. He had a 5:82 reaction time. He'd been really good all day long, not in the final. Cruz smoked the tires, pedaled it, got the McDonald's car to hook up, went on for the win. A really good team. And I tell you what, John Force might be sweating right now.
Very strong performance by the cruiser. Steve Evans.
He's just now getting his hat off, Bob. You're right. A strong performance, particularly by the driver of the car itself. I'm going to start talking to you while you take it off. You pedal this thing like a tricycle, Cruz.
I had to. It was loose out there. I didn't see Scusa, but hey, you got to pedal these things if you want to get to the finish line. I really want to thank Joe Gibbs and McDonald's and Interstate Batteries, Champion Spark Plugs for supporting us, because without them, you know, sometimes we forget to mention them, but I want to mention them. This is a great team. We want the championship. I also want to say hi to my sister who's not doing well. She's going in for surgery. I just want to say hi, Dora.
How do you do in the points, Bob?
Obviously gained big time on the leader, John Force. Force stays number 1, but don't look, somebody's closing in. It's Cruz, Al Hoffman, Chuck Etchels, and Dean Scusa. One more, it's Top Fuel. Doesn't get any better than this. TNN's live coverage of the Mopar Parts Nationals is brought to you in part by Allied Signals Fram Filters. It's coming up, and that'll be next in Surround Sound. TNN's live coverage of the Mopar Parts Nationals is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. It's the finals and Top Fuel coming up. With me here, the driver of the La Victoria Salsa car, Mike Dunn. Mike, what do you guys got to do to stop Larry Dixon?
Well, I don't know. He's tough. He's been running awfully strong. They fell off a little bit in the semis, as both cars did, but I have a feeling they're going to have it all together for this round, and Scott Coletta is going to give him a race. So if they can keep the clutch in that car and keep all 8 cylinders lit, we're going to see a good race here.
Frank Hawley, we're down to the final race of the day, and Larry Dixon seems to be a juggernaut that nobody can stop.
Well, this has been a spectacular race here at Englishtown. But I'll tell you, I talked to Dick LaHaye earlier. Just like Mike just said, they've had some clutch problems. The car's been running very, very well to half track. Dick thinks that he has a clutch in the car, has made some changes that's going to allow them to run the last half of the racetrack without any clutch problems. And I think what we're looking for is a real even drag race right now, because it appears that probably the lanes are pretty even.
He's got a good clutch in the car. Rabbit foot wouldn't hurt either if you want to beat Dixon. Look at that, on fire, he gets the win. 499, 281 miles an hour. Scott Coletta, 502, 290 miles per hour. It was Scott off the starting mark first, some flames down there. They appear to be going out. Doesn't look like real serious damage, Mike Dunn, but even on fire, he gets the win.
Well, whatever it takes. I mean, obviously did a great job with that Miller car getting out there. Scott dropped a cylinder right at the hit, had a slight advantage over Larry, but they both left good, and then a little ways down track, it looked like Larry had some problems with a dropped cylinder, then eventually just pushed the gasket out. And, you know, you can feel that in the car, but it was, you know, if you're ahead, you're not lifting.
Mike Dunn, the driver of the La Victoria Salsa car, with a great analysis there. And look at that. What a way to go out. Good thing it's only surround sound. Steve?
Larry, you look like the world's fastest Roman candle. You probably had no idea about a lot of fire.
Absolutely no idea, you know. All I seen was Scott and his kind of a back and forth thing, and I was just hanging on. I had no idea what's going on.
A dream weekend.
Obviously, we won then.
You did indeed win, and you won a lot of points too, right, Bob?
Oh, you love telling the kid that he won. Sometimes you take these things for granted. In the points, in Top Fuel Eliminator, Larry Dixon just continues to pad that lead. It's Corey Mack in the number 2 slot. Mike Dunn, my co-host, number 3. Scott Coletta, number 4. And the other Johnson boy, Blaine, in the number 5 hole. Dixon's going to make life miserable for the rest of these guys the rest of the season. Larry Dixon and the Miller Genuine Draft car with a great run. Let's take a look at some great racing action. Here it is.
This for you.
Look at that. Don the Snake Prudhomme on the right. The kid, Larry Dixon, was being interviewed by Steve. Wasn't even sure that he'd won the drag race, but he did. It's his third big win of the season. Leads the Top Fuel points, and now they're going to start to take a look. But, hey, they got a couple of weeks to fix that puppy, and they're a very, very happy team. The Miller Genuine Draft Car. I don't think Don Prudhomme had this much fun when he was dominating in Top Fuel and Funny Car right here at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park. A tremendous performance here this weekend, and congratulations to all of the winners. It was Larry Dixon in Top Fuel and Scott Coletta. The nature of this beast, somebody wins, somebody walks away the loser. Scott Coletta's machine, his first final round appearance since the Rockingham Winston Select Invitational. Trying to figure out what have we got to do to A, keep the car together, B, beat Larry Dixon, and C, all of the above. Hope you enjoyed a tremendous drag race here live on TNN today, and we would like to congratulate all the winners and all the folks that watched at home. The Mopar Parts Nationals has been a production of Diamond V Sports and the National Network, leaders in coverage of live motorsports.